Hey y'all. I do this every single time I'm making a video. I literally be like, okay, I'm not gonna say y'all this time. I'm gonna say something that's like a little more put together just for the camera to go. And I'd be like, hey y'all. Of you that don't know, I'm Naya. I am the CEO of In Her Beauty. I am a self-love enthusiast, motivational speaker, all of that good stuff. I'm here to motivate you, empower you, and bring you up. So today's topic is going to be 3 things that you need to be doing in order to transform your life. The reason why I chose this topic is because I've just been learning so much in the last few weeks. I've been on such a high, from the books that I'm reading to the people that I've been meeting and the things that they've just been dropping for me, like gems that they've been instilling in me. And it's only right that I share it with you guys, I just want to go to the hills and holler it to everybody, because these are stuff that I feel like I'm actually seeing the results. And if I can just help somebody do the same thing, like, why wouldn't I, So with that being said, let's get started. So everybody loves to quote the statement, you can make 5 years of progress in 6 months with the right steps. But what exactly does that mean for someone? Like, okay, if I take the right steps, I know that in 6 months I can make 5 years worth of progress. But what are those steps that I need to take? How do I go about doing it? Is it something that I need to physically do, or is it something that needs to mentally change within myself as well? Because that does play a factor. So the first thing that I'm going to tell you that you need to do, contrary to popular belief, you need to forget the goal. Forget the goal that you're trying to attain. Forget the goal that you're trying to do long term. Forget all of that. Right now, the only thing that you need to focus on is the systems that you have in place. Focus on the systems to get there. The habits that you are creating, or the habits that you currently have, are the things that are making or breaking your progress to achieving those goals. A lot of times it's not that goals aren't being achieved because they're unachievable. But a lot of times goals are not being achieved because it's the behavior that you're practicing that's connected to it. Do you have good habits that are supporting where it is that you're trying to go? Do you have habits that are supporting the person that you need to be in order to attain that goal? If not, that means that you have bad habits, and a bad habit is a play against what it is that you're trying to achieve. You need to take time to assess all of the habits that you have. The good, the bad, and like the neutral. You need to assess and ask yourself, are these are these practices that I'm doing and these habits that I have formed and are forming, are they supporting my overall goal, or are they stopping me and hindering me from getting there? What time do you wake up in the morning? Do you eat 3 meals a day? If you're trying to be out in the gym, how consistent are you? Are you going to the gym, or are you going to hang out? Are you reading to get more knowledge and to get inspired for the craft that you're working on, or are you watching brainless TV? If you're going to watch TV, are you going to be intentional about what you're feeding yourself? All of those things definitely play a factor in what it is that you're trying to do. That being said, you need to focus on your habits. Form good ones and get rid of the bad ones. A good habit would definitely be making sure that what you're infiltrating into your mind and what you're allowing yourself to be fed through media, through social interaction, are things that are supporting where it is that you're trying to go and what it is that you're trying to attain. Another goal or another habit that would definitely be helpful is keeping your foot on the gas. It's very easy, and it always happens. For example, if you take around New Year's, everybody gets into this mentality, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna start the business, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get rid of that person, and this, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. And then March, April comes around and it dies down. Now, why does it die down? A lot of times it dies down because, one, the motivation is coming down, because the discipline is not there to keep going, even though the motivation has changed. So therefore, that changes and affects the habits. But aside from that too, another thing that happens is that once we don't see the results that we're trying to see happening at the rate that we thought it would happen, now we're starting to slow down and starting to get inconsistent because we're starting to get discouraged a little bit. But you cannot do that. If you want your life to transform within the next 6 months and see mind-blowing results, you have to keep your foot on the gas regardless of what you see in front of you. Regardless of not having a house, regardless of not knowing what your next move is, regardless of getting all of those no's and getting those declines and losing that job and losing that person, regardless of what it is, you need to keep your foot on the gas. Because even though it does not make sense in your face right now, it's going to make sense when it's time. It's going to align when it's time. But in order for something to align, you need to stay in alignment with it. Keep your foot on the gas. Keep going. Keep putting out the journals. Keep putting out the content. Keep applying to the jobs. Keep remaining consistent with what it is that you're trying to do. That is a great habit that you want to implement because you want to learn to teach yourself that your habit is not interchangeable with your motivation. You don't ever want it to be that your effort is contingent upon how motivated you feel in the moment. The same way you don't want your actions to be influenced by your emotions, because the same way that emotions are inconsistent is the same way that motivation at times does get inconsistent. At the end of the day, it's not about making 100 good pieces of content that is the reason why you see a difference or you see progress. It's the fact that you made 100 pieces of content, whether they were crappy, whether they were good, whether they were amazing. Just keep your foot on the gas. I'm not asking it to be perfect. I'm not asking you to know the way. I'm asking you to keep that constant motion in motion. Just doing that by itself is what's going to take you and exponentially increase your chances of making it and progressing. 2, start associating yourself and placing yourself in rooms with people that are where you aspire to be. There's a saying that says that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. So if you're spending majority of your time with 5 people that are not motivated to achieve what it is that you're trying to achieve, that aren't in the same mentality as you're in, what do you think that's going to do for you a year from now? It may not seem like anything today. It may not seem like anything tomorrow. You may see a little something next month, but in a year, that would have costed you so much effort and costed you so much progress that you could have made. By placing yourself into rooms that you aspire to be in, around people that are doing what it is that you aspire to do, it does a couple of things. For one, it reminds you and it serves as a constant reminder that it's possible. It's very hard to stay motivated for something and to be chasing something that you have never seen yourself, because eventually you start to get to a point where you question if it even exists in the first place. So that's one. The second thing that it does for you is that it keeps you on your toes and keeps you motivated, because at the end of the day, you don't want to feel like you're the person that can't keep up. You don't want to feel like you're the person that's slowing the group down. As a result, you're always going to feel the need to be on your toes. The last thing I want you to do, and this is my favorite because I just see so many results just doing this in my own life. I actually got this one from my brother. Number 3 is to set higher goals to the point that they're almost unattainable. And the reason why you're going to do this is because when you have a goal, there is a certain motivation that you have attached to that goal. There's a certain type of effort that you're going to put into it. There's a certain type of mindset that you're going to shift into. There's a certain way that you're going to reframe your behavior in order to achieve that. When you have a goal that is attainable, I'm not saying that you don't put in effort, but it's nowhere near the amount of effort that you would put into something that you feel like isn't attainable. So, with that being said, the idea of that, the goal isn't to achieve the goal that you placed that's unattainable. The goal, however, is for you to realize that by placing a goal that was higher and more likely to be unattainable, you actually ended up achieving more than you intended to in the first place because you did not lowball yourself. And a lot of times we do that. We don't realize that we downplay our ability to achieve certain things. Sometimes it's us that limits ourselves from what we're able to do. Sometimes it's us that downplays ourselves because, let's really be honest, like, failure is scary. But one thing I love about this third tip that I'm telling you to do is that I'm telling you, fail. Literally, set yourself up to fail. Because by you setting a goal that you think you're going to fail, you're going to end up winning because you're achieving a goal that you did not set in the first place that's higher than the original goal that you set. It's like, it's some freaky mind game stuff, but I'm telling you, it works. It works because it teaches you to actually also realize your worth in that sense of, wow, I am capable of achieving so much more than I give myself credit. I say all that to say, I want you to implement these tips for the next few months and see how much of a difference it makes in your life. Because for me, I've only been doing these things for maybe 2 months now, and the changes are crazy. So crazy. Like, literally, I relocated to another state because I knew that by moving to another state, it was going to force me to be a level of aggressive that I have not been by living in other cities and other states. I moved to a brand new state. I started a brand new career. I sat and I placed myself in a city where, for the most part, I don't know anybody. Forced myself to be in a whole different world. Even down to, I know that I want to be a certain type of person. I want to be in a certain type of tax bracket. I want to be living in a certain type of home. I want to be around certain types of people that are doing certain types of things in terms of careers. And what I did is I stepped out of my comfort zone and I placed myself in that city. I placed myself at those restaurants that people are eating at. I sat there and I rubbed elbows at certain events that are gonna cause people to get to know In Her Beauty, get to know my brand, get to know what it is that I'm trying to do. Am I uncomfortable? I am extremely uncomfortable, y'all. When I say I live in anxiety, I live in anxiety because every single day is a push. Every single day is me not knowing what today is going to bring because it's not anything that I'm used to. I'm not used to anything that I'm doing. It's so different for me. I'm going about my days differently. I'm doing things differently, but I can honestly say that it's exactly what I needed. And it couldn't have come at a more perfect time. And I know in my heart, a year from now, I'm going to be light years ahead just because of the fact that I'm choosing to make these life-changing decisions today. And so I'm telling you this to tell you that it's time. If you haven't done so already, it is time. It's time to be uncomfortable. It's time to get up. It's time for you to take that new job. It's time for you to level up. It's time for you to change that mentality. It's time for you to get rid of those bad habits and create some new ones. It's time for you to be uncomfortable. It's time for you to just move up in the ranks, move up and just challenge yourself to see what it is that you're capable of. Because I promise what you think you're capable of and what you're capable of are two different things. Don't downplay yourself. Aim high. Aim real high. Aim for the stars, yo. Ceilings do not exist. And it's so funny because even in filming this video, I'm looking at the fact that I've literally been cheesing from ear to ear like the entire video. But it's only because I feel this so strongly in my heart for someone because I get it. I always say in every single video, I am 100% going through this with y'all. I am figuring out life with y'all. I am figuring out what works for me and what doesn't with y'all. So I feel it so strongly in the fact that, yes, do I have bad days? Yes, do I have down days? Do I have days where I feel like maybe I'm trying to reach something too high? Of course. But do I also have days where I see progress? Do I have days where I see me doing things that I never thought I was capable of? Y'all, I wake up at 4 o'clock every morning. I wake up at 4 o'clock every morning to be in the gym at 5, to be at breakfast by 7, to be at work at 9. Like, what? And I'm still dancing, and I'm still doing school, and I'm still having a social life, dating, like doing it all because it's possible. It's 100% possible. And I don't know, I just feel it so strongly for someone that these 3 things are going to transform your life. They're going to transform your progress. They're going to transform your confidence. I have so much confidence in myself just in the fact of seeing me achieving things in timelines that I didn't even know was possible for me. Not because anybody told me it wasn't possible, but because I told myself that it wasn't possible just by lowballing myself and creating attainable goals. The key to growth, to unlocking a level of growth where you're growing exponentially, is to literally set yourself up to fail. Set yourself up to fail. If you think that selling 20 houses is too much, you know what? Go for that 20. Prove yourself that you're going to fail, but I guarantee that you're going to sell more than that one that you thought you were only capable of. You got this. We got this. So with that being said, take those 3 tips, come back in a couple months, let me know how it's affecting you, how is it playing a role in what it is that you're trying to attain. Have you seen a difference at all? And just be great, y'all.